Welcome all to the first official Board Park Gaming video, where we're going to review the 3 games that were already posted on the channel. But Jordan, which is me, are we supposed to be getting new games since it's a new month? Technically, yes. But it seemed a bit wrong to ignore the fine games that already happen to be here. Of course, I still plan on doing an actual game of the month for February, so don't worry about it too much. Plus, I wanted to wait until after the CyberConnect 2 press conference before I even talked about Concerto and Solatorobo. Now, I did lead into this video by saying that we're going to be covering 3 games, but you might have already noticed that this video is only about Concerto and Solatorobo. I'm going to be uploading another video here shortly, probably in the next few days, about Telltale, but I feel like it should be given a tiny introduction so I don't need to repeat this bit. Plus, this video is going to get a bit long, so I don't want to just slap it on the end where nobody might see it. I'd feel a little bit guilty. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room, the CC2 press conference I keep going on about. We did it, boys and girls. We got another Little Tail Bronx game called Fuga. I'm probably going to mispronounce, like, everything. But, anyways. Also, the Little Tail Bronx series did have its own little logo on, like, the promotional art. I'm hoping that means that we're going to be getting a lot more in the future. To be honest, there's a lot more to cover about that release, but I think I'm going to make another video for that, and that's probably going to be the next one up on the channel. The link will be in the description whenever the news video gets uploaded later. With that all cleared up, let's get into the first game in the Little Tail Bronx series. Well, I use the term loosely there, but 1991's PlayStation exclusive Tail Concerto. Now, the first thing you might notice about the game is that I can't actually properly pronounce the title. The correct pronunciation, I'm pretty sure, is Tail Concerto, but I usually say Tail Concerto. Sorry about that. I mean, you know, once things get stuck in the way you say it, you just kind of keep saying it that way. But as for the actual game details, one of the first things that I kind of noticed after playing it for a bit is the varying sizes of the environments. They have areas like Porto, the Eggstone, and Coolant, which practically fit onto one screen, whereas Airleaf, Restock, and the 2 main boss arenas are reasonably large, like several screens, take a couple of minutes to even walk through even without like any of the challenges. This felt a little weird to me, seeing as the game is filled with a lot of, collectibles to find, and you return to a lot of the small maps quite often. While the decent amount of people inhabiting the islands help add life to the world, to be honest, I got kind of bored of exploring rather quickly because I ran out of new places to explore. That being said, the environments were at least somewhat interesting to visit. Obviously not the most dynamic world, each island had its own charm and didn't feel like a simple copy and paste that can affect some of the smaller RPGs and adventure games. The story can also be kind of described in a similar manner. There are parts of the game which kind of glosses over details. Like, we get the motivation for the way the Black Cats gang is doing their thing, but for Fool, he's just kind of being a prick. We don't really know why. And I understand like why Cyan might be jealous of Waffle, who came in and, like almost immediately and won over the princess by actually doing the job. But the way Cyan acts with Waffle, it's kind of awkward. I mean, it's funny, but the way it currently is feels like we're missing something to explain the odd man. Like they have some sort of history or something. We also have no idea why such a spread out kingdom has a grand total of 4 justice personnel: the Chief, Panta, Waffle, and Cayenne. Those are the only actual people with like badges you see. But on the other end of the spectrum, we see that the player gets loads of backstory about Alicia and the explanation of why the world is. I mean, if you can overlook the plot holes left by, Cayenne and Fool, and you can overlook the rather short length of the script, then the story is actually pretty full of charm, and I really enjoyed it. We see a lot of redemption, love, intense action. It's got everything you want except for the long runtime. Why is this work of art so freaking short? Why? As for the gameplay, the controls are simple and responsive. Sometimes a little too responsive when cornering, though, from what I've been playing through. It might just be my controller, though. The run speed, the jump height, and length are all pretty well balanced for the navigation required of the player. My only real complaint is the accuracy of the throwing mechanic. It was a little hard to aim when you weren't running in a straight line, but that might have just been a bit of user error. There's not much else extra to say. What you see is what you get. There's no special combos, there's no extra mechanics. I mean, it's just simply you shoot bubbles and you jump. In this case, I would say that's not too much of a bad thing though, as the simplicity adds to the charm of the game. Overall, I'd give Concerto like a 7.5 out of 10, because while it is a very well-made little game, it is, well, little. I'll give credit where credit is due, and say that it is one of CyberConnect's first games, so there's bound to be issues somewhere, and I'd rather have those issues in the form of storyline, rather than gameplay. However, I still wish it would be a little bit longer. If you do ever get a chance to play Concerto, I'd recommend giving it a try, though. Now, let's go on to the next game. Solatorobo, Red the Hunter. Officially one of my favorite games ever, of all time. At worst, I would have to say it's my second favorite game, but I would argue it's tied for the first, and making a push for it being unanimous first. All I'm going to say is, watch this intro video. Badass. Yep. And remember the whole Concerto is too short problem? CyberConnect 2 listened and said, "Oh, you thought one amazing plotline was sufficient? How about two?" Now, I could just fangirl for a while about this DS exclusive, but I think it'd be a little bit more productive to give a review, while simultaneously fangirling, because let's be honest, I can't express how much I love this game. One slight change from its predecessor was the shift from more platforming elements to more of, I don't want to call it hack and slash, but it's kind of got that similar feel. But I'll just call it melee gameplay. You smash literally everything that gets in your way. Enemy mech? Smash. Wall of debris? Smash. Giant evil robot thing? Well, I guess technically you shoot that, but you do get to smash a lot of other things. Besides smashing, there are other elements to the game. You have the fan favorite, and much to my relief, is the flying mechanic, the much improved flying mechanic, and as it made a return to the series. Unlike in Concerto, which only has a tiny snippet of the game, you can return to the Dwarven Islands after this flying sequence and fly as much to your heart's content outside of the main story quest, along with some extra side quests to do there that involve flying. The throwing mechanic from Concerto also returns, but now with, I would argue, a little bit more of an auto-lock feature. Like, you don't really get to turn and aim much, pretty much as soon as you pick up and release, and it auto-locks, so you don't have to worry about missing your throws as much. Also located on the Dwarven Islands is the unlockable game mode of Robo Grand Prix, essentially mixing a kart racing minigame, as a few extra hours of new gameplay, as success in the single-player mode unlocks new airships for the multiplayer version of Robo GP. And yes, I did just say multiplayer. There's in fact a multiplayer section of the game. There's also another minigame in Solatorobo, but it's only single-player, but it is a fishing minigame located on Bassett, where you get to fish for hermit crab battleship things. It's kind of interesting. I don't I didn't play it a lot, but it's interesting. Outside of the minigames, you also have the addition of side quests, which in some cases are crucial to advancing the story, but they do help add a new element and additional playability to the game. The largest change in the core game mechanics, however, is the introduction of a player progression system. Unlike in Concerto, which had no progression, and typical JRPGs, which grinding is extremely prevalent, Solatorobo has one of the better leveling systems I've seen. Your level isn't as indicative of your strength as the modules you use to upgrade the DAC mech are. While your level does in fact modify your health, in technicalities you can beat a single portion of the game without even buying any of the modules. But it's not very smart to not buy the modules. My tip though, when you buy modules, invest heavily in hydraulics and second attack. Well, that might be just my playstyle. I found that if you can lift faster than the enemies can attack you, then you become practically invincible. Like, you get through a lot of the game. Obviously, there's parts where during the boss fight when they start shooting lasers at you, being able to throw things doesn't really help. But whenever you get to throw things back, you can throw it back faster. I guess that's it. There's also another leveling mechanic in the game called the Hunter rank. It's more reflective of your story progress, and kind of helps you prepare for the upcoming challenges. Like, obviously the higher levels are more difficult to do. Plus, it kind of forces you to take a bit to upgrade through side quests so you get enough money to be able to buy extra modules. But it's not like you need to keep grinding on those. But speaking of the story, how was it? Yes, I freaking love the story. Listen, Bandai Namco, CyberConnect, you have a perfect chance. 2 words. Anime opportunity. Look at the Tales series, Final Fantasy, Valkyria Chronicles, heck, even CyberConnect's own .hack series. There are plenty of other examples too, but those are the only ones I've actually heard things about, and I actually watched the Valkyria one. But please, I mean, you have these characters, this universe, there's too much to let it just wither away. Plus, you've already got 17 hours with a storyline. Come up with extra stuff to fill in extra time. I guess I should probably actually talk about the story now. Or we can keep going on about how this should be an anime, make it an anime.
Do it.
Solatorobo's story matches its gameplay in a way because it took all the good bits from Tale Concerto and added to them. We get the relationships, #RedAnil forever, and some of the action stuff. Plus, we fill in a lot of the plot holes that kind of hurt Tale Concerto. Remember how in Tale Concerto the entire Kingdom of Prairie had just Waffle to do everything? Well, Solatorobo kind of addresses the existence of other hunters. Well, not in a major way. It doesn't feel as Red's the only person capable of doing anything useful in the world. We also get a bit more motivation from the bad guys, the neutral NPCs, and the heroes. The only major plot hole that affected me was why the gang from Tale Concerto is in the Shepherd Republic. Oh wait, you didn't entirely catch that? Yeah, a bunch of elements from Tale Concerto are in Solatorobo. Tharconius is an airship from Tale Concerto, but it makes its return in Solatorobo. Along with that, we have Waffle, Alicia, Flair, Stare, Princess Teria, Cayenne, and the Black Cat's gang kittens that all show up. It's also probably safe to assume that the Iron Giant from Tale Concerto inspired the Lars boss fight, seeing as we have to go through the entire digestive system and the little annoying guardian thing. But to be fair, it does help tie the two games together a bit more. Makes it feel more in-universe. But the Tale Concerto boss fight was also fairly decent. I just kind of suck at the whole platforming thing, which makes it look a lot more difficult than it is, and probably a little bit more painful to watch. Another trend sticking around from Tale Concerto was the environment size issues. While on average the maps are a lot larger than they were before, they still kind of lack the sprawling worlds you might expect from a long adventure game. That being said, once again, they're still packed with charm and filled with plenty of people to meet, collectibles find, and quests to complete as compensation. One improvement from Tale Concerto, though, was the creation of more artistic locations. Each place is somewhere you might actually want to go visit in your free time, as opposed to, this is where the quest is and this is where I need to go. One part I didn't mention, though, when talking about Tale Concerto, but I want to draw some attention to here, is the soundtrack. In Tale Concerto, the music was a bit more unmemorable to me. While it didn't exactly hurt the game, it didn't really add anything extra. Conversely, Solatorobo has a strong soundtrack, and I enjoyed listening to it. Now, it's not the greatest OST that I've ever listened to, but it added some value to the game, and I don't think it should be left unnoticed. Now, obviously I'm going to give this game a 10 out of 10. There's no doubt in my mind. If you haven't played this game, then I implore you to do so. Heck, I'm even going to make it a decree. You must play this game before you die. Now, I know it's not everybody's cup of coffee, but if you dislike Solatorobo, you're not welcome here. We're just going to lay that out there. You're not welcome. Okay, I'm kidding. Kind of. To finish off this video, I'm going to say something kind of bold here. Even though this is only like the first video on this channel ever, Solatorobo will be the best game played on this channel. Period. Mic drop, the end, roll the outro.